Our next presenter is Life Out of the Box. They're a social venture. They work with local artisans around the world to create unique, handmade, beautiful products to help support education in third world countries. For every item that is sold, school supplies are given to a child in a developing country. So let's welcome Life Out of the Box.
Hello, thanks so much for having us. I'm Quinn.
And my name's Jonathan.
And together we created Life Out of the Box. Thanks for the introduction. We were lucky enough to be able to actually present here last year, so we're here to refill your cups on what we've been up to since.
So Life Out of the Box all started with just a blog. We thought it would be cool to document the story of two 25-year-olds quitting their job and hopping on a one-way flight to a developing country to create a social venture.
We decided to actually start our journey down in Nicaragua in Central America. At the time, the average person lived off of just $2 a day, so we knew we could actually make a large impact. We immersed ourselves right into the culture right away to really understand what we could do to impact the country.
And one way that we dove in was we volunteered a lot of our time with numerous nonprofit organizations to really understand what the needs were. And we deeply connected with education, specifically elementary education.
We talked to principals, directors, and we asked them what exactly do the kids need inside the classroom, so we were surprised to see that it was as simple as just school supplies. Kids didn't have textbooks or notebooks to actually do schoolwork in. So we knew that we wanted to give the school supplies and tools to kids to be able to pursue their education. So once we knew that, we needed to find a way to actually buy the school supplies.
Yeah, so rather than just focusing on donations, we wanted to create a sustainable business. So we work with artisans, and now we work with artisans all over the world. We started in Nicaragua, we expanded Guatemala, and last year we were working with artisans in Morocco to create handmade products. At first they were just bracelets, and each product has LOOTBs hand-stamped into it for Life Out of the Box, and then below each one has a unique number in it, so that the customer can actually go onto our website, type in their number, and they were able to see the exact child that they gave school supplies to through a profile that we make on our website.
So as we traveled through the countries, our products started to develop. We started doing woven designs, beaded, leather. These are from Morocco. We take the materials that they have locally and then use their own talents to actually develop new products. So once we were able to sell some of our stuff, we were also distributing school supplies all throughout the countries that we were traveling in. So we distributed school supplies to thousands of kids all throughout Nicaragua, Guatemala, Mexico, and Morocco.
Yes, this was all done through our online website, Life Out of the Box, where people were able to purchase them while we were in these developing countries. And most recently, or last year, we were able to find out that we are able to distribute school supplies without us actually having to be within the country. So we had one of our supporters go to Kenya, and she was able to distribute school supplies on behalf of Life Out of the Box to a small class in rural parts of Kenya.
Once she did that, we then empowered someone else to actually go and distribute to 250 students in San Pedro Belize. So that was a really big stepping stone for us. And since then, we've been able to actually share our story to students all over the country. We actually were on the TEDx stage at Oklahoma State, and we shared our story there, which was a really huge moment for both of us. We also were able to, we were finalists at the Princeton University Business Competition and pitched our company in front of a lot of VCs, professors, and students over there as well.
And just last summer, so this is our update, we just got back from Guatemala and Nicaragua, and we went back to further develop that relationship with our nonprofit organization so that we can continue to distribute school supplies. We also distributed thousands of school supplies while we were there to numerous preschools throughout rural Guatemala.
So we developed new products. So now we have some new products, and a lot of these products give school meals. So we developed a new school meal program with our nonprofit partner, as Guatemala is actually the fourth highest malnourished country for children in the entire world right now. So that was a really big need, and we wanted to develop that with them. We also developed some new bracelets, brand new styles, and hired some new artisans, which is a really big deal to us as well. Our customers request some travel accessories, so we developed some passport wallets and luggage tags, which was really fun, and we also went into handmade ties, and this is our beautiful model wearing our handmade tie.
And since then, we also, this summer, we had some of our supporters distribute school supplies throughout Southeast Asia in Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam.
We also had one of our supporters distribute backpacks and school supplies to a rural school in Peru as well. We just launched our brand rep program, which is actually empowering people from all over the world to become entrepreneurs themselves and help us scale and grow our own business through sales and marketing. And we distributed school supplies with a group of students from Arizona State University to Nogales, Mexico during Thanksgiving last year, and that inspired us to actually go out and create some Life Out of the Box clubs on university campuses. We now have our founding one at Oklahoma State University, Arizona State University, and Cal State University of Monterey Bay. And that's actually expanding beyond. We have quite a few universities who are interested in creating clubs on campus as well. But the biggest change that we've had since we talked to you guys last was we actually used to show profile, just a picture of children so that people can actually see their impact. But we wanted to take it a step further and actually give them the experience so that they feel like they're actually there in the countries with us as we're distributing school supplies. So we have started to make videos as we distribute school supplies in these different countries around the world. So this is us in Guatemala distributing school supplies to a small rural preschool.
Yeah, so this allows us to give the customer a deeper experience with the distribution, as well as allows us to really scale. So rather than having to make a profile of each child, now we're focusing on schools and classrooms in the developing world.
And yeah,
so thank you very much, and we look forward to answering any questions.
All right. Just get our attention, and we'll get a mic to you. And these are kind of quiet today, so hold the mic real close so that everybody can hear your question. Got one here in the middle.
I was wondering if you guys knew how many students you've impacted so far. Do you have a total number of students to date?
yeah, we're just about the 10,000 mark, and that's kind of been our goal. Is once we reach 10,000, that would be like our really big goal. And after that, we're going to start, doing actual marks of, how many more can we do. And this video project actually allows us to really be able to do it on a more massive scale, which we're really excited about.
Okay, next question.
I see that the last school that you had up there actually had a Rotary International symbol. Are you guys working with Rotary at all?
We've worked with Rotary a few times. We worked with, our very first presentation was actually through Rotary Club. And when we distributed school supplies through rural parts of Nicaragua, we went with them. They were fixing wells and repainting schools, and that's kind of the way that we were able to get free transportation to distribute the school supplies.
I said there's a resource here in Tulsa. It's the Medical Supply Network. So around Oklahoma and the surrounding states, they donate some medical supplies to a center here, and then those go to Rotary clubs around the world, and those clubs make sure that the clinics get it. So I know the guys that run that. If you want to meet them and just look at their model, it might be the same thing where the clubs in those countries would work with you to get your stuff to the locals in that community.
We'd love to talk to you after this, absolutely. We love the Rotary Club, thank you.
Any questions from our junior achievement crowd?
Question right over here.
So these social entrepreneur programs are fantastic. Long term, what are you trying to build, or what's your core differentiator? Is it the brand, Life Out of the Box? Is it the distribution network that you're building? Is it the student club networks to support? Where if you wake up every morning and think about it as a business, what are you trying to build? Where's the value? Where's the differentiation? Where's the long-term sustainable value?
It's a really good question. That keeps us up at night, of course. There's lots of different things. I mean, as you can see, we're trying a lot of different ways to actually figure that out. One of the things with the club is that the club came out of the constant demand from students wanting to get a lot more involved and wanting to actually give. And so that's kind of how it got set up, was to, of course, kind of emphasize the lifestyle of life out of the box, traveling, pursuing your dreams, and giving back along the way. But then we also want to actually start giving them the opportunity to give. But on the more business level, I think we are trying to build, it's kind of a twofold thing. So we are distributing school supplies and school meals, and that's a really, really important thing that we saw while we were living in all of these countries. And we want to actually expand on that. We also know that there are vaccines that are needed, there are nutrition packets, there are lots of different ways. And the way that we can actually do that is to keep growing the business so that we have the money to fund those programs. And the other side of it is actually providing sustainable jobs for our artisans and providing them income and actually still preserving their art. It's unfortunately something that's happening all over the world, is that the artisans don't really have the market. They don't actually have the ability to sell their products on a larger scale, so they have to go and work somewhere else and leave their art behind. So that's kind of another part of it.
Yeah, I would say that we're really trying to build a brand that allows customers to see their impact. So you're making a purchase, there's lots of social ventures out there, but how much really demonstrate how much of an impact you're specifically making on a tight unit. And so that's kind of been our big focus ever since we started, was we want to show you that you're making an impact on one individual, one number, one child, one set of school supplies. And now as we're scaling it, we still want to maintain that as we continue to grow.
Okay, I have a question right back here.
So what inspired you to do it, and like what were your biggest struggles as you were developing it and as you were trying to figure out what you were going to do? How did you come up with like more products besides bracelets?
Yeah, well, for us, so we had good jobs in California, and we just were taking a moment, we started dating, and we were just asking ourselves, like, how do we define success? What is success to us? And for us, recognizing that success goes much further than just making a lot of money, but actually creating something that goes beyond our existence, as well as that actually leaves an impact or a dent on this planet. That was our kind of motivating factor for why we quit our jobs, said goodbye to our parents, and jumped on that flight to actually pursue this dream of changing the world.
Yeah, and the developing new products, that came along the way. We left with no idea of exactly what we were going to do. We didn't know we were going to work with artisans. We went there and we knew that we had to seek out the opportunities, and that was an opportunity that came up. And as we develop new products, our very first prototype to our bracelets now, it's really kind of embarrassing to even look at our first prototypes. But it's just the process along the way. And it comes a lot of times, new products come from customers. Like I said, the travel accessories were requests from customers, and then it's also wanting to have the culture reflect the products that we produce. So we work really closely hand in hand with our artisans through the development process and the designing to see what materials they have and what they can actually do.
Got a question over here.
This sounds exciting, but also very, very complicated. You guys are in so many countries and all this international business. What challenges have you had that you've dealt with really well, and are there any challenges right now that you're dealing with that are still challenges?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Yeah, we have, first off, we fail every single day. And so if anyone's trying to be an entrepreneur, just accept that and try to fail fast. But as we are in numerous countries, it requires that we have very close relationships with whether it's the director of the nonprofit organization, the head of the co-op, or an agent that's going to assist with getting us the products from there to us. And that's a challenge in itself. It requires a significant amount of time in order for us to build on that relationship. When we first went to Nicaragua, we were there for a year. Then we kind of learned a bit of a process. Then Guatemala was 6 months. Morocco was 90 days. And now when we go back, we're doing it for at least a month. So that is a challenge of making sure that there's that trust between the relationship between us and the individuals that are actually in the country.
Okay. Yeah, and I would also say, it was just the two of us. We're both grad students at OK State right now, and we're in their incubator, and we actually have a team that's really helpful to us, that helps us really push forward. So we can actually focus on the bigger things, which is the more international business, because we're really big on social media, blog, and website, and that's really how we've got our marketing out there so far, and so we've got a really great team who's still maintaining that.
Okay, we're going to have a question translated back here.
How did you get the money and the resources to even start?
That's a really great question. We left California with just our savings. We had calculated to like the dollar exactly how much we would have, how long we would be able to live there without making any money at all. It was about 2 years. It's really inexpensive to live there. So we started it with just our own savings. The resources were really limited. We didn't know what opportunities there were. We didn't know anyone. We had very little Spanish. Now we can speak Spanish, but at the time it was difficult. But I would have to say that the limited resources is actually what pushed us through and actually got us to where we are now. We had to bootstrap. We had no plan B. We had no safety net. So because of the lack of resources, we had no other option, and we just had to make it happen.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, we really bootstrapped. We were living in $150 a month apartment, no kitchen, cold water bathroom, or showers, you know, just at the very bottom of the bottom, and that was a huge motivating factor for us.
So it seems like you have a big inventory management issue, because one, you have to gather all the artisan products, and then I'm guessing shipping back to a central location, maybe in North America somewhere, and then distributing those to the people who are buying them. And on top of that, I would see that your goal would be to maximize exposure of your products, and so that a simple web-based selling mechanism may not be enough to reach your goals, that you potentially want to get into retail locations. This is a lot going on. What are your logistical challenges? How are you handling it now? And how are you planning on to grow into potentially retail locations?
Yeah, that's another great question. So at first we just did online because that was the easiest way that we could get out to our customers. Now that we're kind of stationed in the United States, now we are starting to do events. So we'll do different events, you know, whether it's a fair or some kind of concert or something, and that's kind of getting us out there a little bit more. And just now we're starting to look into retail as well.
Yeah, so we actually get everything in our little office in Stillwater right now. So everything gets shipped to us, and that works for us right now. But we are looking to scale and grow, and on top of the events, we didn't want to go into retail before we were ready. That was one thing we didn't want to do. And so this summer we made sure that our supply chain was ready to do that. And so we got our artisans on board, we hired more, we got our agent on board, and now we're able to actually reorder and have them ship it to us. So that we can be prepared for retail. We're ready for it. We're actually launching a retail strategy for this upcoming holiday season, as well as corporate gifting as well. So it is a logistical kind of a nightmare if you think about it, but it's not a nightmare. It's just a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, as with all business, it's all relationship based, and even more so when there's a cultural barrier and a language barrier. So we spend a lot of time down there. We really work side by side with our artisans, and it's all about trust. So it's a lot, but it's manageable. We're able to do it right now, and we really want to make sure that it is sustainable in Central America. And we are looking to expand also into another country. We actually have our friend Piyush here from India, who we're working with for the next 3 weeks on how we can potentially work with his artisans over in India that he works with. So that's another, and that's an important factor too, that we know him, we build a relationship with him, and he's on the ground, and we know that things can happen. So.
A question right here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of charities and nonprofits doing this type of work who, they sell a product and they use that to drive donations. What distinguishes your company from a charity, and what decisions have you made that really show a difference between organizations that are doing the same thing from a nonprofit standpoint?
Well, I'd say that the biggest difference, that's a really good question, is that because we are established as a for-profit social venture, we always approach it as a business, not so much as looking for a way to sustain the nonprofit based on the amount of money that comes in. So therefore, we're always looking for ways of expanding our sales. Everything is sales-based. So because we're on the ground here, focusing on giving in a developing country where we're not located, that's why we're able to focus on future retail opportunities or working with big events and having a brand rep program. And that's kind of one big differentiating factor rather than just focusing on the nonprofit aspect.
But I will say, with the nonprofit aspect, we rely heavily with our partnerships with our nonprofits because they're the ones on the ground working with the community all the time, so they know, they're able to tell us what they need. A lot of times they're applying for grants. Because they're on the ground, they're not able to actually do fundraisers in America, which is where most of the money has to, usually comes from. So what we're able to do with the money that we make is we can actually continue to give them the actual physical items that they need. So if it's a backpack, if it's textbooks, if it's school supplies, we're able to actually give it to them consistently without them having to apply for a grant and hope that they get it, amongst thousands of nonprofits. So they focus on what they're really, really good at, and we really try to support them in any way that we can, through our own revenue.
Okay, I have a question right over here.
So let's say a woven bracelet from Guatemala costs $15 as per the website. How much of that is actually going to go to school supplies? And have you done any elasticity analysis to see if maybe you can raise the price $3 but get more money back or something like that?
Yeah, so originally when we first launched our business, each bracelet you would see the profile of the child. So if it was a more expensive item, you would actually be able to give a larger school supply set. But what we did most recently is when we distributed to Peru, we weren't just giving school supplies, we actually distributed backpacks. So what we're doing is we're kind of combining all the give backs. So if it's a more expensive item or a less expensive item, no matter what, we're still doing that distribution, but we're not able to directly show you that your more expensive item is going to give a more expensive school supply set. And so we are kind of like playing around with this. This is kind of new to us, this new scalability issue of being able to show the customer their impact on a larger scale. But we're always trying to give them what they need. We actually speak with the nonprofit organizations first, ask them what their needs are, and then try to integrate that into our business model.
So it's not like a percentage of the price, or so maybe $1 of my purchase, but maybe $50 of somebody else's purchase.
Well, it's okay. Well, the big thing is that you have to also take into account. This is like the business part of it, right? So it's like, it's not just, so we have to take the cost of the bracelet into account, the payment of the artisan, and then beyond just the physical school supplies, we also pay for the transportation to get there, which ends up being, quite a lot. I mean, we make it so that we can actually still keep on sustaining, but it does vary based on each product. So it's difficult to say an exact percentage, but it's enough for us to have grown, in the last year or so. And we do, having more expensive items, from $15 to $40, and then also including now school meals. It really does allow us to continue to sustainably give to all of our nonprofits throughout the world as all of their prices actually change. So like school supplies in Peru is actually a lot more expensive than even in, say Nicaragua. And then Southeast Asia is different, and the transportation all changes. So it is difficult to pin down an exact percentage. But yeah, we're working hard on it all the time.
Okay, I think this is going to be our last question based on time. So here you go.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for sharing your story. Could you share maybe your aspirations? What does this venture look like 10 years from now?
It's a good question. Our vision has always been to, be able to support artisans and nonprofits around the world. With children, we think that all children are equal. You don't choose where you're born. So we want to be able to provide, school supplies, school meals, and like I said, expand on the giving with vaccines, nutrition packets, which have been things that nonprofits have told us about. Also expand our product line with new artisans. I would like to, the goal right now in my head is like 10 countries around the world that are completely sustainable in 10 years. Maybe it's because of the 10-year thing. But yeah, just be an internationally recognized brand that's really making a serious impact on artisans' lives and on children going to school.
Yeah, it would be cool to have products that represent each country or each area so that the customer actually gets a sense of like what that culture is like and what it's like to actually be a part of it. We're big on emphasizing travel, and a lot of our customers are all about it as well. So any way that we can kind of get them that feel, that's good for our brand.
All right, and now it's time for our final question. What can the 1 Million Cups community do for you today, besides liking you on Facebook?
Yeah, so the holiday season is coming up. We're doing lots of different things to try to expand, including new products that are coming through as well. If you guys know any retailers who might be interested in, holding Life Out of the Box products, if you know any corporations that might be interested in holiday gifting with Life Out of the Box, or even if you are part of a school, university, Rotary Club, if you guys want us to come and share our story, that's usually our favorite thing to do is share our story and connect with other people who might want to have a social impact or be an entrepreneur in any way. We love connecting with other people. So if you guys have any of those opportunities, we'd love to talk to you afterwards.
Thank you so much for coming out and presenting and giving us a refill. If you are new to 1 Million Cups, please raise your hand if this is the first time you've been here today. All right, awesome. Please come see us after. This is the end of our meeting. We're here every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Please come back, sign up on our newsletter, and have a great day. Thanks.